Hello everyone, welcome to a new YouTube video. In this case I'm going to show you how to change the oil and oil filter of a Chevrolet Cruze 2011. To start, we lift up the car. I use these two ramps, and also I recommend using the wheel locks to make sure the car doesn't go down. I like using the engine flush. I put always this before I rinse out the oil. This helps cleaning the engine and getting all the bad parts out. So it's very flammable, so I recommend making sure that everything goes in and it doesn't spill out in the engine. So that's what I'm doing right now, just putting the whole motor flush inside. Once it's all in, we just close the cap, and we want to let the engine run for about 5 minutes. Once we let the engine run for 5 minutes, we turn off the car and we can go ahead and remove the nut on the oil. We're using a 10mm socket, and make sure you have a bucket underneath, of course, if not you're gonna spill everything. I like to let this while I remove the oil filter to make sure all the oil goes out. For the oil filter, it's easier if we remove the hose, the air intake hose. For that, we disconnect the sensor and we disconnect the hose too. Once connected, we can see the filter there. Using a 24mm socket or 15/16 of an inch, we can remove the filter. It's a bit hidden on this model, but it's not complicated. You can see here dirty oil filter. On the oil filter also we want to change the rubber that goes around. Normally when you buy a new filter it comes with a new rubber. If not, I recommend changing it. And there's special tools to remove the rubbers without damaging the screws, the threads on the filter. To apply the new rubber, I recommend using the new oil to lubricate it. And once it's in, we can go ahead and also install the new filter. You can see here it looks pretty new. Then I recommend always going first hand tight to make sure we don't cross thread it. You hand tight until you can, and then we use the torque wrench and we apply 25 newtons meter of torque. And once the filter is tight in position, we can go ahead and plug back the hose and the electrical connection, and using the screwdriver to lock it in place. Once it's good, we can go again underneath the car and put back the nut in the oil. For this we use again the 10mm socket, and we want to torque it to around 14 newtons per meter. I use a digital torque wrench from Craftsman, but you can use any other torque wrench. Once the nut is good and the right torque, we can go ahead and put the oil in. In this case I'm using 5W30 for this model, and we want to put around 4 quarts of oil. There's normally measurements on the oil, and once you think that it's the right amount, you can go ahead and check the level on the oil. It has to be in the middle more or less. I recommend putting a little bit extra, since when you run it, it's gonna fill up the system and the oil filter. And if you think that's right, you can go ahead, close the oil cap, and let the engine run for about 5 minutes. After these 5 minutes, I would recommend checking in the level to make sure it's right, and you're good to go.